Hello, everybody, and welcome back to TrustBIX's channel. Today, we have a special guest. I know last time we ran through Hugh's background. He gave a deep dive to the company, but today we're going to talk to Lee Irvine, the general manager of the ViewTrak division. Lee, how are you doing?
Good, really well. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. So as I said, let's paint a picture of your background now. So tell me about the field you got into and what made you interested in it and some of the past successes you've had.
So my family's been involved in the auction market industry for a long, long time. I grew up as we call it affectionately an alley rat, pushing cattle through the alleys here in Calgary at the Calgary stockyards. My earliest memory was actually around the auction market industry, and yeah, we just always been around it my whole life. After kind of working at the auction market, family auction market, I decided to travel and did a little bit of traveling. I was in Australia for a while, came back and worked some large ranches here in Alberta. And then I went off to actually get my farrier degree or certificate. And so I became a professional farrier for a while. And after that, I went off to university at the University of Saskatchewan, where I got my degree in animal science as well as ag business.
Interesting.
Coming right
I was going to say, so this kind of ran in your blood then. So this is something you were pretty much always around. It just kind of like, this is what I'm going to do with my life.
Yeah, ag has been a big part of my family for a long, long time. Like I said, we've really enjoyed being around the cattle stuff. My dad, I remember driving when I got my learner's permit. I remember driving him. That's where I learned to drive was he was going out to sort calves, and so I would take him on trips, and he'd be on the phone, and I'd be driving. So
Interesting.
it's a lot of fun, and I'm actually really happy to be back in the auction market industry. So then I got my ag degree, and right out of university, I got hired by a pharmaceutical company, Boehringer Ingelheim, and I ended up working for them for 18 years, where I kind of moved through. I started as a sales rep, moved on to national sales manager, district sales manager, kind of through the chain, and ended up my career there as the key account manager for them, where I was managing some of the large global accounts for them that are based out of here in Canada. During that time, as with everything in ag, you always seem to have a couple of the side jobs on the go.
Okay.
And one of the side jobs that I was doing was helping with BIX, and that was being a third-party provider for them.
Mhm.
And what I saw is I saw a valuable part of what BIX was trying to do in helping producers to add value to their cattle. And so along came the Canadian Sustainability Project. And what I really saw was an opportunity that if producers didn't get on board with that program, we were going to lose it. We were not going to be able to make, if the program wasn't successful, we were going to lose the ability to have those producers get paid for doing the right thing. So through a couple of different events, I decided to jump over to TrustBIX. And I actually started with them as a producer engagement. And my role was to go out and talk to producers about the sustainability program, as well as to help them sign up for it as well and understand all the requirements. So that was going along really well.
Before you go on about the sustainability thing, talk to people a little bit more about what that actually entailed. Like how big of a change was that? And like, and you said like it could go away. Explain that part a little bit.
So the problem with the sustainability is that there was retailers who were paying for basically that wanted meat that was sustainable or was certified as sustainable.
Yeah.
And in order for a producer to call their operation sustainable, what they had to do was follow a set of protocols that was from Verified Beef Production here in Canada, or VBP.
Mhm.
And so what it was is VBP would basically go out and say that these producers are raising animals sustainably, and that's managing the environment and managing the social aspects of it, as well as the animal welfare. And basically the animals, how they're managing the animals is a certain production level and a certain production criteria. And it actually took a third-party auditor. So a third-party auditor would actually come onto the farm and validate that those practices were being done. Then that producer would actually sell those animals through the chain. And if they were in a verified operation all the way through the chain, then retailer operations like McDonald's or Loblaws would actually then go and pay back or provide a premium.
Oh,
or not, I shouldn't say a premium, a financial incentive back to the producers. And it's ranged around $18 a head. And so what I saw is that if we didn't give those retailers enough meat to be able to make these claims, there was a risk that we were going to lose a program like the sustainability program. So that's one of the reasons why I thought, you know what, it was important for us to make sure as an industry we got on board with the program. So through a series of other events, the gentleman or the one of the guys that was running the ViewTrak division decided to take a step back, and they literally I like to joke about it that I missed the meeting and they threw me in. Yeah, they voluntold me that I was going to be running the ViewTrak division. It actually works. It's a really good fit for me because of my background with the auction markets, as well as the feedlots, and my background in production. Running the software that runs auction markets as well as helps producers with their feedlot software. It makes a lot of sense for me to be in the chair that I'm at right now. And so that's kind of how I ended up where I am today.
Okay, yeah, it's an interesting story. So where you're at now, can you just go into a little more detail of like what it is you really handle on the day-to-day now?
Yep. So I'm responsible. So as the general manager in ViewTrak, I'm actually responsible for 2 auction market software programs, as well as a feedlot software program called Feedlot Solutions. So we'll kind of focus on the auction market side of the business. So basically what our software does is it helps manage everything at an auction, at a live auction. And so it's right from registering the cattle for sale as they track the cattle through the ring to record the price of the cattle, and then also tracking them through the penning and loading those cattle out, as well as invoicing the buyers and the sellers and providing checks to the sellers. Our system is actually specifically designed for livestock, but it can actually be translated into other. We have odd and unusual sales now. We've got one client who's actually selling giraffes and lemurs and alligators, as well as people who are using it for farm sales. It can be used for gun sales, any type of auction that's available. So that's the one system that we run. We are probably the largest provider in North America. We have the largest market share in both North and US and Canada of of our auction market software. And what's really interesting is actually we're starting to add some more things to it. So our auction market software is module based. So basically we can add unique features to it without interfering with the base model of it. So a great example is we recently just added the ability for auction markets to transition from an older LED screen to TV screens. And for that, it basically makes their rings look a whole lot more modern and gives them the ability to showcase attributes of the cattle they're selling, or if they're selling a horse or however they're like, whatever the seller would like to display, we give the auction market the ability to do that now. And those are all things that we've been able to kind of add on. So then the other side of the business is our feedlot software. This is a program that basically helps track the production costs for feedlots. The program is really a unique program because it's actually tied to a desktop. It's a desktop program right now, so we don't have a cloud base. It's not cloud-based. We don't require an internet connection, and the producer's data is held securely on that. And then we also have a pig grading probe as well that's sold in North America and in China. And it's basically what it does is it grades the lean yield of pork carcasses and allows it to, and then basically provides a formula back to the packer to be able to pay for the carcasses.
Yeah, it's really interesting when you hear about these softwares. Things are so much more advanced now than when you think of the traditional markets and how things were bought and sold in the auctions before. So now that you're with TrustBIX, how different is that than having been versus a third-party person?
For me, well, obviously, I've moved away from helping the actual producers now with my role as a general manager. So now I get to help producers in a different way because I actually get to add some value to the cattle through the marketing system and through the price discovery system. Our slogan actually for the AMP side of things is supporting price discovery through innovation. And so we're really trying to think of new ways to help the producers as they market cattle. We truly do believe that using the price discovery method is the best way to find out what the value of your cattle are. So when I came on to TrustBIX, my role was to be attaching attributes to the cattle and helping producers to do that. Whereas my role is now transitioned into helping them market those attributes.
Wonderful. Well, Lee, I think you did a great job of sharing your past experience, walking through what you handle on the day to day, and explaining why you joined the TrustBIX team. So, thank you for coming on. If anyone has any questions for Lee related to the things he specifically handles, don't be afraid to reach out and we'll happily get an answer for you. But for now, Lee, thank you for your time. Any closing words before we go?
No, it's great. I really appreciate the opportunity to tell our story. I'm really super excited about where we're headed. And yeah, I encourage anybody who wants to have questions about us or about our auction market software, feedlot software, to reach out. I'd be glad to visit.
Perfect. Well, Lee, again, thank you for your time. Thank you everyone for watching and stay tuned for another video coming soon and have a wonderful day, Lee.
Thanks so much.